Today's show is brought to you by the letter C and the numbers 2 and 5.
Hello and welcome to Super-Duper Woo-Fighting Duo
With capes.
number 12. Yes, that's right, I've decided to drop the stupid episode thingy because it's not really an episode as such.
Stupid episode thingy?
Well, I've referred to these as episodes, so I decided to drop that. So it's just going to be a hash 12 for this episode, for example.
Okay.
From now on, yes. Well, not hash 12, and then you get my point.
I don't think I do, but let's move on.
Is that because you're sleep deprived?
It might be.
Okay. Is the reason that you're sleep deprived because of QEDcon?
It is. So it's both wonderful and horrendous at the same time.
Yes, the two main stories this week are about QEDcon and 1023.
Yes.
So
I was at both of those.
Well, I mean, 1023 took place at QED, so...
Yes.
Yeah, so...
And many other places.
Well, yes, it took place around the world. There was one in Cardiff as well, which I sort of...
Was there really? We didn't hear about that.
Be quiet.
I saw your desperate tweets. Please come and see me.
I eventually did manage to get some more people down there, which was good.
How many people did you have in Cardiff?
Well, there was 6 in the morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. And then it was just me, and then my friend Tom came, and then Simon Watkins brought a friend, and so yeah, there was 9 of us in total.
Cool, that's not too bad.
Throughout the few hours of the day. Well, I was there for 5 hours standing up.
You should have taken one of those little camping chairs.
Yeah, your legs get quite stiff after that long. But we attracted quite a few people there, which was fantastic.
Did you educate some of the masses?
Yes, I did. I was evangelising to the masses about how homeopathy is nonsense. It was fantastic. I had 30 test tubes full of water set up, and I showed them a dilution of cough-E with an A on the end, 30C. And they were like, that's ridiculous. And I managed to scare some people because I was talking to a few people, and then once you start talking to a couple of people, lots of other people will start crowding round. So I then said, now these tablets are labelled arsenic. And I took a scoop of them, and I chugged them. And they were like, what are you doing? Are you mad? Are you mad? And I was like, no, because they're homeopathic. And I explained homeopathy to them. And they were like, that's mad. And it was very pleasing.
Excellent.
Yes.
Did you have some feedback forms?
No.
That's a shame.
But I did take leaflets with me, so that was good. Yes, it's fantastic. And I gave loads of them out, and yeah, it was a very productive day overall.
Yeah, sounds good. Well done, you.
Thank you. So on to QEDcon. So just day one, how would you describe it?
Well, the people I travelled up on the train with, James Streetley and Alex from work, we arrived at midnight at the hostel, and I was already tired from the week. And then we heard from our roommates that there were still people at the hotel, in the hotel bar, because there'd been the mixer in the evening, obviously, where people had, what are they called, delegates, had shown up and all gone to the bar to meet each other and get drunk. So we decided to go to the hotel at like midnight. So yeah, that was a good start, but tiring. So yes, there was 8 of us in our little hostel room, and for some reason I was the only person who thought to take earplugs, so I slept all right. But apparently it was quite noisy.
Noisy? Why? If you were sleeping.
Well, you know, middle of Manchester, weekend.
Snoring.
Yeah, some snoring. Someone was snoring, apparently.
Shame on them for their inability to inhibit their snoring.
Well, as I say, I didn't mind. I couldn't hear it.
I couldn't hear it. It didn't bother me.
But anyway, we got up bright and early on Saturday for registration. Got to the hotel about 8:30, I think. Maybe a little bit after that, to pick up our badges and info packs and all that sort of thing. There were lots of T-shirts on sale, but unfortunately only from large upwards. So for the smaller individuals among us, we only had the sort of tent-style things available. But I got myself a 1023 T-shirt anyway.
Hooray.
As is necessary.
Yes, even though I didn't have one for my 1023 event. Although I don't think I'd have been able to go out in it anyway, because it was really rather windy in Cardiff that day.
It was raining constantly in Manchester. That was an ongoing joke.
It's raining homeopathy.
We didn't think of that one. It was more just that it was, you know, the north.
It's raining a 1x dilution of Nat Mur from the skies. What is this?
Oh, it was good though.
Good.
It's all a bit of a blur, actually.
Damn it, we're recording this podcast early in the week, so it'd be fresh in your mind.
I know, but you have to prompt me. I can't just... It's going to be really boring if I just narrate what I remember of it. Slowly.
So, obviously, throughout this episode, we'll have some clips of you talking to peoples from...
Yeah, I tried not to hassle too many people, because obviously there are professionals like our friend James O'Malley going around getting proper interviews, so...
But you spoke to James,
didn't want to hassle people. I did speak to James. I gave him a taste of his own medicine.
Yep, we'll have your talk with James a little bit later on. So...
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly, you know, we were listening to the talks and having important conversations and getting drunk, so...
Cool.
Not much time for interviewing, man.
Oh, well. In between all the getting drunk and sleeping and talks, it doesn't sound...
Very little sleeping.
Yes. It doesn't sound like you'd have had much time to do interviews anyway.
No.
Oh, well. But, yeah, so who was your favourite speaker and why?
Actually, I think it was Professor Bruce Hood who was the very first speaker. Because actually what I ended up doing was going to most of the breakout sessions. So there was a main hall with the big presentations and that kind of stuff. And then upstairs there was a little seminar room where a lot of the live podcasts were being recorded and workshops and that sort of stuff.
All right.
And I went to quite a few of those. So Bruce Hood was one of the few sort of main speakers I actually saw. And he was just such a fantastic speaker. You know, everyone was knackered, but I doubt anyone even considered falling asleep through that. Yes, he was just really charismatic and it was interesting. And he talked about I don't know if you heard of the bomb detector woo thing that went down a few years ago. I hadn't actually heard of that, to my shame. And yeah, that was quite shocking. Government had spent many thousands on these basically useless dowsing pretend devices that were supposed to detect explosives, and obviously a lot of people ended up dying.
Well, that's a little bit bad. Well, more than a little bit.
A lot bad, but
yes.
Again, shows the power of questioning things.
Yes. So, what was your favourite breakout session then?
Let's see. What did I go to? I went to Incredulous. That was funny. Pod Delusion, of course. It's probably the Pod Delusion.
Cool.
Yes. Dr. Starty did a fantastic talk.
Good.
Highly recommend listening when that episode comes out.
Good. So I think we'll have your talk with James O'Malley from the Pod Delusion now.
Enjoy.
It's post QED. QED is finished. We're in the bar. Here's James O'Malley from the Pod Delusion.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm all right. I'm very tired. How are you?
I am also unbelievably tired.
How does it feel to be on the some sort of recording device.
It's a bit strange because I'm worried I might be a crap interview. I don't know if I can segue things into like pre-prepared funny material very well. I'd be shit on Mock the Week.
What was your favourite bit of QED?
Ooh, good question. See, this is why I should have pre-prepared some answers. No, it was all very good. I very much enjoyed Eugenie at the end. That was good. I don't think I actually saw that many things because a lot of it was spent in the bar talking to my fellow skeptics or panicking about my own segment. What did I see? I can't... Bloody hell, I can barely remember.
It was so good. It was just a big...
Bruce Hood was good at the start. He kicked things off well.
That was one of my favourites.
Yeah. And everything with the panels in the breakout room were good. It was all very good. I can't wait for next year.
Yes, me neither.
Good.
We need to make sure there's official petition for renewing QED.
No,
next year.
let's relentlessly berate the organisers into organising one. Even if they make a massive loss on this, and even if they don't want to do another one, or are sick of scepticism, or decide that pseudoscience is actually basically science, so good enough, we'll berate them.
The Science Museum seems to think so.
Sorry?
The Science Museum seems to think it's okay. So.
Exactly. We'll start a campaign of harassment against the organisers to encourage them to do this again.
Alex Davenport is making faces at this. That's the anger scream. Anyway, this is Noodle Maz for, I guess, Super-Duper Woo-Fighting Duo.
With games.
So, 1023 was around the world this year.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. On the run-up from, I don't know, I guess about 10 a.m. until 23 minutes past, Marsh did a little presentation, which you can find online. I'll put a YouTube link on my blog, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, just detailing some of the responses they'd had, because obviously we did it on Sunday, and most places went on Saturday.
Yep.
So there were quite a lot of videos from around and about. So there was Spain, Portugal, Brazil, Antarctica and Hawaii. That was very impressive. Various cities around the UK and that sort of thing.
Yes.
But Marsh is going to tot up the numbers properly when he's been through his emails, when he has time. So we'll get some interesting data.
It was pretty big in America this year as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the LA Times put out a piece about
They did,
it.
yes, we saw that and were very chuffed. And also with the full page in the Times.
Yes.
Times? Was it the Telegraph? I can't remember now.
I can't remember. Oh, there's the ambulance.
Yeah.
Has become staple on this podcast.
Yes.
We have to have an ambulance in there somewhere.
No, we were sitting at lunch on the Saturday, which was really good actually. They put on sandwiches in the hotel, so we didn't have to head out in the rain. And for those of us who were poor, we only had to spend a couple of quid on lunch. So yeah, Simon Perry was sitting with us and brought the newspaper, so we all had to read and a high five to that.
Excellent.
Even if they did use last year's photo.
It doesn't matter. It's all 1023.
Yes.
Oh, good. So, yes, it sounds like 1023 was a good success.
It was fun. I think one of my favourite bits of it actually was when we all downed the pills, of which I still have quite a lot.
I've still got quite a few of mine, because I bought a kilo of blank pills to make some, 30 or 31C, Arsen Alb, Arnica and Nux Vom. And then we took some blank pills, which I didn't actually put my coffee onto, rather stupidly, but I bought a kilo of blank pills. And yeah, we actually had a diabetic do the 1023 with us in Cardiff. He was very brave.
Yeah.
Yes, but he still went ahead, and he probably took some of the most pills.
No, I think my favourite bit of that actually was when everyone downed them, and then just the sound of 300 plus people in a big hall crunching on sugar pills. It was quite amazing.
Were yours tasty?
They were actually surprisingly tasty. I don't eat sweets very often, so it's quite
Ours were rather small, so they...
yes, they're tiny.
Well, ours were even smaller, I think. We only had 2mm ones.
Yeah, they each look about... maybe 3.
Probably. Ours are small. They're smaller than the boots size, definitely. But yes.
There's a picture on my blog. Did you see? Are they the same?
Yours looked bigger.
Okay.
Hey.
Come on.
Oh, come on, it had to be done.
Right, I'm here at QED with Alan Hennis.
Hi there.
Alan, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Did you
Thoroughly
enjoy
enjoying. Oh yes, thoroughly.
The overdose
Very
this
good.
morning.
Yes, and haven't crashed.
I think we're getting there.
That was a visual gauge, perhaps. Yes.
So, this afternoon you are discussing
Yes.
Nightingale collaboration.
Shortly after lunch, if I can get some sandwiches, I'm going to talk Nightingale collaboration. Just a good bit about chiropractors and complaints and things, which is a lot of the lead up to Nightingale has been caused by that, and the what we've learned from that fairly large campaign trying to call chiropractors to account on what claims they were making. I think there's still a lot of work to be done on them, but we shall see.
Are you hoping to get some new recruits?
Oh yes,
after the
hopefully,
talk?
yes.
Good. What's been your favourite thing so far?
Oh goodness, Stephen Novella yesterday, I think. It was fascinating. It's an area I don't know an awful lot about, but actually seeing things broken down the way he did it, and trying to explain and rationalise some of the reasons people believe things and why what they believe might be wrong, I think was fascinating.
I enjoyed Bruce's talk in the morning for similar reasons.
Yes, yep.
Well, I shall let you get on and prepare for your talk, and I look forward to it.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, well, for anyone who hasn't heard, my top story of the week obviously has to be the whole Science Museum thing.
Yes.
So a colleague of mine, Mr. Alex Davenport, went to the Science Museum recently, and he started moaning at me about how they had this exhibit which had alternative medicine in it. And he sent me some photos, which I was quite shocked by. So I said, why don't you stop ranting at me and rant on a blog, and I'll put it on mine. So he did, and I did my editorial duties, and we posted that, and it got quite an amazing response. PZ Myers linked to us, which I think was what tipped the hits over the edge. But turns out it was something that caused, well, one of the things that caused Simon Singh to resign from the board of trustees for the museum, because obviously when he's being sued for libel for criticising a complementary therapy,
Yes.
then you can't really be seen to lend your support to somewhere that's essentially promoting similar things.
Indeed.
It was difficult. So and David Corcoran had complained about it in the past, but nothing had been done. So we wondered if there was anything we could do, or what the Science Museum had to say about it at least, and they gave us an official response. Which wasn't really up to scratch, I don't think, so we've carefully composed a reply, which you can read on Martin's Guardian blog, and we'll see where it goes from here.
So perhaps you'd like to, just give a small example of some of the things that the Science Museum are doing?
Yeah, okay, so they've got a gallery that's generally about the history of medicine, so having things in there like homeopathy it's fair enough, because people used to believe quite heavily in it, and it was part of mainstream medicine, as it were, and then it kind of broke off from that and became part of the alternative movement, so to speak. So it's not that we disagree with them having alternative medicines in a history of medicine exhibit, because it's an important educational point, but it's just the way that it's presented. They rely very heavily on anecdotes, which is obviously what alternative medicine pushers do anyway.
Yeah.
For example, on the homeopathy stand, it says, choosing homeopathy. When 3-year-old Druvy's allergies and throat problems weren't getting any better, her parents decided to try homeopathy. They believed it offered a safe and gentle way to treat their daughter. Here's her story. And then there are some quotes from the parents and the doctors and stuff. And at the bottom it says, homeopaths believe in the ancient idea that like cures like. This means that homeopathy treats illnesses with medicines, often highly diluted, thought to produce similar symptoms in a healthy person. Now, obviously, there's so many problems with that. they qualify it with homeopaths believe, but then they say this means that homeopathy treats illnesses with medicines. No, it doesn't, and not medicine. Often highly diluted, always diluted to the ridiculous point of there being nothing left.
Exactly.
And today it is recognised and supported by the government. Apparently, homeopathic ideas have also been adopted in some traditional Indian medical systems, such as Siddha and Ayurveda.
Ignoring, going back to the government point, ignoring the fact that the government agreed that it doesn't work.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They quite often say, "Oh, studies have been done," or "This has been looked into," but that nowhere do they say
that it doesn't work.
But there's no evidence that it works. Yeah, or that it doesn't seem to perform any better than placebo. I don't think that I know of. There's no mention of placebo, but I will be checking that. And essentially, in their justification for it, they've said that they were taking an anthropological and sociological perspective. But again, they don't categorically state that, and it seems that they just didn't consult any actual scientists on this exhibit. But then obviously quite a lot of scientists complained, and yet they don't
do anything about
it. So far, they are preferring to stick with what they originally went for. Which is a shame, because a lot of people trust the Science Museum, and a lot of people... I respect the Science Museum. It's not that we're out to ruin them or anything.
No, exactly. It's just...
that's not the point. It's more to protect the reputation than
to damage
anything else, because they're not doing themselves any favours here.
No. So it seems like this is a rather interesting developing story.
Yes, I would say so.
So next up we have a couple of pieces from our friend Dr. Tom Williamson, who was also at QEDcon.
He was in our hostel room, and I do believe he was snoring, but I didn't hear that.
Well, he recorded a couple of bits for us. He recorded the QED 1023 event.
He did. That's when we did our homeopathy overdose, took all our pills, and then afterwards, at the end of the conference, Tom came and spoke to me and Matt Parker.
Excellent.
Dominus and Skeptic Canary, 1023 live, flying by the seat of your pants.
Shame on you all. My response again, as polite as I can be. Thanks for your interest in our campaign.
45 seconds, 45 seconds.
Oh, blimey, I'm not going to get a chance to
45 seconds from GA.
Okay, actually, well, I might do that right at the very end, but if anyone would like to raise their glasses of homeopathy, do I have a glass of homeopathy?
We have some 31C Belladonna.
I do, fantastic. So I think what we're going to do is, when Gio gives a countdown from like 10 or 5 or something like that, we're all going to say, homeopathy, there's nothing in it, as loud as we can, and then we're all going to chomp through these delicious sugar pills that are not in urine sample bottles, honestly. Big fan funding and all that.
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Homeopathy! There's nothing in it! Wait. Whole room full of crunching. Very nice.
Is anyone dead?
How you feeling, guys?
Crunchy.
Good time. Well, I've already started this email. I'll just read the answer to this email because I think it's quite fun.
I've got a spare, I think I'll have that as well.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm glad you agree we're not fascists, but I'm a bit confused. Are you saying we're pretending to be fascists when we're not? Seems an odd extrapolation from our actions, but in any case, I'm happy to put your mind at rest and confirm that, as you say, we're not fascists. Unless you're only pseudo saying that, it's hard to tell. In any case, I'm sorry that you find us nasty. Still, happy to put another of your misapprehensions to bed. We are indeed doing this for the good of others. Already we've seen a lot of people becoming aware of what homeopathy is and why it's sheer nonsense. So that's enough reward for us.
Very nice.
As for control, what do you feel we're controlling? People's access to information on homeopathy? Technically, we're putting an end to the control of information, allowing people to make a genuine informed choice. As for the massive ego, I'm sure it's hard to distinguish between ego and charitable desire from atop your pedestal. Yours in shame, Marsh and the 1023 campaign.
Hey. And that is over 300 skeptics in Manchester, taking 31C Belladonna No one dead.
Might want to keep it to sweeten your coffee.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and I've got some coffee sweetener. So just another demonstration that there's nothing in homeopathy.
We can do. Have we got 5 minutes?
This is covering 1023 live.
I know we rushed you all in here.
Tomlinson, Skeptic Canary, signing for now. Hello, Skeptic Canary here, Tom Williamson at the end of what's been a very successful QEDcon, and I'm here with Matt Parker, stand-up Matt.
Hello.
I'm here with Marion Baker, a noodle mass.
Hello.
You're from the podcast Super-Duper Woo-Fighting Duo.
With capes.
Yay! Brilliant, I got the catchphrase in. Matt Parker, you entertained us superbly last night, I thought, with a lot of improvisation last night with the Doctor Who effect.
That was my favourite bit.
Yeah,
I got that on film.
Really?
Yeah,
brilliant.
I do. Please send that to me. That's great. Because the thing about the Doctor Who effect is it works really well for everyone in the room, apart from the guy standing in front of the screen. So I just felt like it's like someone running an exercise video and no one else was joining in. So I would like to see the final effect at some point.
Well, I thought it was great stuff, but one thing that you may not be aware of, when you started talking about Conservapedia, I've been following it on Twitter. I don't know if you bumped into a guy called Crystal Dave, Dave Briggs. Yeah, who has just left. But
Is he the guy who got permanently banned? Ah, yes. They're a delightful group of people who infiltrate Conservapedia and put fake pages up there. Which is great, but the ones I was talking about, the fact that they deny relativity is genuine. That I wish that was someone infiltrating and putting up fake pages, but that is a genuine 33 reasons why relativity does not work.
That was extraordinary. I don't think I quite got the motivation for that. I mean, what was their reasoning for thinking relativity was wrong?
It's odd. They don't like the notion of things being relative in general, and they like very set political stances, and they're afraid that if you allow this relativistic form of thinking that you'll have relative morals as well, and they actually do link the theory of relativity and the bending of space-time, if you will, with people wanting to have the legal right for abortion. And so they thought, you know what, let's just nip this one in the bud. And so they've gone straight for cut it off at the source and argue with relativity.
And there's no wormholes in the Bible or anything like that, so...
Yeah, well, one of the great, one of the items, Jesus could act at a distance, and relativity says you cannot act at a distance. Yes, but Jesus also cured people, so there goes the germ theory of disease, and turned water into wine, so there goes most of modern chemistry. So I think they really haven't thought through how far their argument might reach with that. And also, I think the very notion of the miracle is that it defies explanation and science. It's a science. Admittedly, I am cherry picking a particular weird website, and it's not representative of everyone, but it is fun to point and laugh at.
You could go and ask the Evangelical Christian Conference downstairs.
Oh yes, there is an Evangelical Christian Conference. I think they're all.
I hear them singing.
Oh really?
I think they're all from Malawi or somewhere like that. That's what I heard anyway.
So have we not infiltrated them yet?
We haven't infiltrated them. I mean, one of the problems with skeptical demographics is it's sort of 90% white nerdy men.
At the back.
For me, one of the highlights of last night was Helen Keane, if I remember her name rightly. I thought she was extraordinary. She'd come up from London and she'd given a stand-up set, little performance about the space race. I mean, did you know a huge amount about it? Because she took everyone at the conference by surprise, I think.
Well, no, because we've seen it before.
Oh, you've seen it before? Oh, lucky you. Yeah. You London types. Living where she does.
With Matt, actually, and when The Guardian came to find out what this Skeptics in the Pub thing is all about. So Matt and Helen did their relative bits.
And we can do a plug, because she's just done a BBC Radio 4 series about the same material. And it's been recorded, and I forget when it's being broadcast, but if you look up Helen Keane, you better find out when that's going out. I suspect it's reasonably soon.
Okay. Well, to carry on the plug, how is Keane spelt?
Oh, K-E-E-N.
K-E-E-N. Fantastic. Excellent. Oh, well, don't know about you guys, but I am pretty knackered, so...
Time for some alcohol. That will fix it.
Time for some alcohol. Fantastic. Okay, guys, well, I think I'm going to sign off for this one. So thanks very much, Matt Parker.
Bye.
And Noodle Maz.
Thank you. Bye.
Which I just love saying. Okay. Bye, everyone.
We've also got Marianne talking with Martin Robbins of Strange Quarks and...
Science.net.
Yeah, and the Guardian Science blogs.
Generally everywhere.
Yeah, Martin gets around. Burn.
Sorry. He doesn't listen, it's fine.
Yeah. So, amongst other things, he discussed our relationship. Isn't that right, Marianne?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I also managed to speak to George Hrab, who was comparing and also performed at QED.
Hi, Martin.
Hello, Noodle Maz.
How you doing?
I'm doing really, really well.
Are you gutted that you missed
still aware of.
I am. There's a pain that exists
really
within me that will probably never heal until I get to a QED again, or
and I turned up,
somebody hugs me,
I was
or
really
Marsh
shocked when I found out
apologises for
I had to watch him do Strange Quarks.
I'm the only one in my...
I know. My Marsh has basically taken over the show now. You know, it started off as a twosome, but his ego was just too big to be contained.
So went through the ceremony,
and,
came back.
He did ask me if I met any hot geeks at QED apart from him.
Who I respected a lot, and he was...
Well, I wasn't at QED, so obviously that would have limited your options quite a bit. No, well, I think it's cute that Marsh thinks he can talk on his own.
Did you feel the Holy Spirit rushing through you?
You know, and good speed to it. Is this recording? It's the red light means recording, does it?
Thank you.
And this is for what? Your dynamic Super-Woo duo?
Yeah, possibly. It seems it fit.
Brilliant.
What would make it unfit?
What would make it unfit? You could really rip into it.
I'm not going to rip into Marsh. I'm more interested in...
Not Marsh.
Well, I'm curious about... you know, whenever I think of the Super-Woo duo, is that what you're called, the Super-Woo duo?
That's for sure, yeah.
Welsh Boyo and Noodle Maz. I think the key question about Welsh Boyo and Noodle Maz is ultimately whether Welsh Boyo and Noodle Maz, whether it's just a purely professional relationship, or, well, that was a very quick denial and I haven't quite finished the question.
Well, it depends which side he's irrelevant. I'm stuck here and really recording when
there is quite a big debate in the skeptic community because you know, his mum or his sister.
I'm a little bit young to be his
because it will completely ruin all of his... How old are you?
I'm 25.
You're 25 and Rhys is... Right, so you're just about old enough to be his mum in some cultures.
What?
Well,
physically impossible.
No, I don't think it's physically impossible.
Very, very rare.
If a scientist came along when you were 9 years old and took a cell from somewhere where you were going to miss a cell or two, and took the DNA out of it, and I didn't pitch it, and then stuck it into a new, like a cell, like a chicken egg, for example, and then it was like a chicken egg, but it had your DNA in it, and then the chicken egg hatched, and then out came Rhys. Well, no, it wasn't a clone of it. Well, it could be a clone because you do have quite similar hair. Well, it's both light colours compared to...
He's blonde, I'm not.
You're kind of blonde. You died
faking.
Well, you know, maybe that was in your genes. So either be blonde or diet blonde or die trying.
Have you not heard the new theme music, by the way? If it had been my time to what? To
Milton put a lot of work into that.
I have a slight confession to make.
You've never listened. Ha!
I've never actually listened to an episode of Super-Duper.
It's probably for the best.
Because I always have this really bad. I don't listen to any of my own podcasts or things either, and I don't. I always
Do you listen to them before you publish
Well,
them?
I edit them, yeah, but I don't listen to them after because I'm always I always feel bad. I'm always terrified of listening to things that. Hi James O'Malley of the Pod Delusion, a podcast which I listen to every week. I always
It's okay, we had this discussion last night. We don't listen to
I struggle because I respect people so much and I'm always nervous on their behalf. It's like if I see Carmen on stage, for example, even though I know she's brilliant and lovely and wonderful and almost as brilliant as you, I'm always kind of worried that if I look at her while she's on stage or something, she'll crack up or she'll make a mistake and then it will kind of ruin the whole thing and it'll all be my
So by listening after the fact to something someone's recorded,
it's like
you're going to make it rubbish.
It's like Schrodinger's.
Which podcast is this?
This sounds like superstition, and we should belittle it.
It's
Schrodinger's podcast.
It's like Schrodinger's cat. If you don't open the box, it can't die. If I don't listen to the podcast, it can't be rubbish.
I'm here with George Hrab after a very fantastic exclusive concert. I feel very privileged.
Oh, you're very nice. Thank you. Thanks for coming. As you can tell, the skeptics are partying. It's craziness here. Absolute craziness in London. Call the police.
Enjoying your time in the UK.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone is so generous and so cool. I feel completely welcome, even though your money is weird and you drive on the wrong side of the road and your showers are confusing. But it's great. Apart from that, it's fantastic.
So, and you enjoyed QED?
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, QED was a blast. Absolute blast.
Very impressed that you did all that with like 4 hours sleep.
Oh, well, that's the traveling muso's responsibility to rise above the needs of your DNA.
Certainly appreciated by everyone.
Oh, good. Well, no, it's my honor to be involved and be included with those people. Those people. No, it's great. It's a lot of fun.
I know Rhys was very, very disappointed that he couldn't make it.
Well, next time Rhys will come out and we'll dance to ABBA tunes or something. It'll be great.
Excellent. Thank you again.
Thank you.
For such a good concert.
No, thank you. Rhys, keep doing what you're doing, brother.
So, the final bit that we have for this episode, Maren got drunk, basically, and went to the pub. Isn't that right?
Well, what tends to happen is you go to the pub and then you get a bit drunk. I was not entirely intoxicated. I had a couple of drinks.
So you were drunk?
No. I was happy. It's a difference. You when you grow up, you'll learn this difference. There's a scale. There's not just sober and drunk. There are stages in between and afterwards.
I think when you said you were happy, that was a euphemism.
No. Look, people know what I mean. Carry on.
Okay. Well, anyway, yes. So this was after the Darwin lecture. You met up at the pub with some of the peoples, some of the skeptics, including James O'Malley, Kash Farouk, and James Thomas. Correct?
Yes.
And you got a bit more drunk and more drunk, and then you discussed.
I don't think drunk is important. We had a conversation about QED and it was fun, and here it is.
So, I'm here with James O'Malley. James.
Sup.
Kash Farouk.
Sup.
And James Thomas.
Hello.
We are reminiscing about QED. Where are we? Yes.
Maybe you should pitch it. So you recorded stuff at the conference, didn't you?
Not really.
Because we could do it. So we'd like reminiscing. Do you remember that time when you spoke to
you?
To me at the conference, and then
nice,
exactly.
Like Scooby-Doo. Wavy nice.
No, sorry. Did you want to ask something proper?
No, we are just reminiscing about how brilliant QED was.
It was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it.
Friday night, superb. Yeah, Friday night was superb. Lots of really, really lovely people, and an impromptu jam session with George Hrab and Saxman and everybody. And Dr. T.
What was your favourite bit of QED?
I like the start because it was rock and roll. With the big videos, big screen, and Bruce Hood.
I think that was my favourite bit as well, but I've already said that as well.
Personal or just of the whole sort of thing?
Any impressions you have, how we're all really miserable and tired?
We are all incredibly miserable and tired, and that's a good thing after a conference. It's like coming back off the best 2-week holiday you've ever had. But
Except it was only
2 days, 3 days.
Well, I was surprised in the Saturday morning that it was only the start of the conference because of the night before. Not because I don't drink, so it wasn't as if I got amazing. I went to bed at 11 o'clock, but I was so exhausted from constantly,
That's what I was saying to James earlier. Actually, I did sleep. I brought my earplugs like a clever person, so the hostel wasn't that loud for me. I think Hayley had trouble sleeping, but I did sleep. But I was still just knackered. Knackered constantly. Screw you.
14th
VIPs and your,
VIP? I've never paid so much for a hotel in my life.
The 14th floor wasn't that comfortable.
14th?
14th. No.
We were on the 10th. That's what corporates were.
Okay.
Is that the room with 1023?
Yes, I guess that's wrong. We must be able to
quite amazing.
Simon Singh's room.
Yeah.
You stayed in Simon Singh's room?
No, Simon Singh was in. Yeah. James stayed in Simon Singh's room.
I think so. I think James is actually Simon Singh's secret hairstylist.
What can I say? I work magic on that hair.
You do. It's not a job. It's a devotion, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to really be dedicated with someone like Simon Singh's hair because naturally he's actually a bald man. So you've got to sort of. I have like a flute and I've got to sort of entrap the hair to grow.
Do you think Rhys's picture of George Hrab is actually reality, and it's just the hair hasn't been taunted back to Simon yet?
You've got to wrangle it under control. It's like
with
one man and his dog.
Sleek, charming.
Yeah. It's his scalp actually teased up by tiny microwaves that they're shooting at it, and it's kind of like a vibrational
magnets because how
it's ironic because despite being a man of science, no one can quite explain exactly how he keeps his hair like that.
Gel?
Less of your paranormal talk.
Yeah.
The rationalists here.
We need to bring in the Wiltshire paranormal research.
There was a funny moment on Saturday night, I believe, when Crispian, slightly worse for wear, accidentally knocked against Simon's hair because he was sitting next to him, and some quarks fell out.
Did he injure himself?
Quarks.
Quarks.
It's like Beetlejuice better.
Strange quarks or charmed quarks.
I'm always rather partial to top quark, as a matter of fact.
We just went a bit too far.
There is. Sorry, we lost you, James.
I'm humanities graduate.
What about Marsh's, build up to the overdose? That was amusing.
I loved that. I thought that was brilliant. I don't think he died at all.
I don't think it's perfect, and I really sympathise when I thought.
Didn't he mean die though, as in because he's homeopathic?
No. He meant died as in dying on stage.
He didn't at all. He was brilliant because the thing that made me amazed, even in awe of how brilliant Marsh is that the night before when we did the impromptu pod delusion thing, I did die in front of 45 people. So to see Marsh just do so well with no script in front of 350 people was incredible.
I think that's a lovely thing about time and relativity, because you say you died. It didn't actually look like that. We thought you were we actually wanted you to shut up because you were just carried on, just talking rubbish. And it was a case of, oh, for God's sake, Liz, just kneecap him, do something.
That's how the podcast usually works. You hope I finish and then someone more interesting starts.
Yeah, you should hear our unedited. It's
But I won't know
quite
anything.
horrific.
This is the problem.
Rhys says, I cut loads out, and then it's still 40 minutes. How much bullshit have we been talking?
But what else? Hello to Robin Ince. Really sorry you couldn't make it up, but we'll see you all soon. And thank you to Helen for coming up, who was superb. Just what's her friend's name? Who did the silhouette?
I can't remember, but yes, the puppet thing was one of my favourite bits actually. The bat was exploding bat. This won't make sense to anyone who wasn't there. I do apologise.
It's an in
It's an in joke now. Exploding bats, Manchester, and the rain.
Did you say Manchester? Like they do there?
Manchester.
I can't do the voice. I'm not that northern.
Manchester. We are not that northern.
From the north.
I'm from north, but not Manchester.
Not Manchester.
No.
There was a thing when we just arrived, and actually Crystal Dave and some other people arrived even a little bit later, and it wasn't Manchester Piccadilly, it was Manchester Piccadilly.
Did you hear the woman on the... Sorry, this is really in-crowding, but the woman in our train carriage on the way back, did you hear when she introduced her? This is the end of my 12-hour shift, so I might be a bit slow, so please...
Fantastic! There was the train announcer woman. She was like, "Oh God, I've been working all weekend and I'm so tired. And, we've got a problem in the buffet car. We can't actually make you tea or coffee. I'm so sorry."
I hope the driver was more awake.
Yeah. She was really funny.
Damn right. I thought there was going to be some sort of vaguely bigoted north-south divide thing. No.
She was probably simple, but that's something else.
I think we should leave it there. Now in a pizzeria for Skeptical Pizza Lunch, Alex.
Good afternoon. I'm looking forward to my pizza.
Good, me too. I think we're all too hungry to think straight.
It is true.
James.
I'm only worried that we're not going to have any left to eat on the train on the way back to London if you eat it.
I can't eat a whole pizza, don't worry. There will be some of mine left.
Yeah, you think that now.
9 inches isn't a lot.
Whoa.
And on that point...
So we want to thank everyone who took part in this episode, whether consensually or not. Martin, who Marianne allegedly got drunk and tricked.
I did not. He gets himself drunk very efficiently. He does not need my help.
So yes, thank you. Thank you, George Hrab, for that.
Lovely,
awesome
George.
Thing. You're awesome.
Thank you for signing my CD.
So that's the end of Super-Duper Woo-Fighting Duo.
With capes.
Number 12. I'm Rhys Morgan. You can find me on Twitter at Rhys Morgan or my blog, thewelshboyo.co.uk.
I'm Marianne, and you can follow me on Twitter at noodlemaz or go to my blog at noodlemaz.wordpress.com.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Meow.